one of his favorites, Alfredo.
Oh yes.
And we're gonna make our own homemade Alfredo sauce. And I know you might be thinking it sounds really complex, and typically it is, but we're gonna kind of do a cheat version where we make everything in a blender. So it really couldn't be more simple. We're gonna start with a base of cottage cheese. Now, cottage cheese,
Interesting.
I already got a face. Sounds a little bit
Cheesy.
interesting, right? But when you put it in a blender, it blends up really smooth and thick and creamy, and it tastes
This is one of your
cheesy.
secret ingredients to your shakes.
Yes,
right?
yes
So-
it is. You're right.
I always get the most questions about that.
And you know, when you blend it up, you'd never know it's in there. So it adds some saltiness and creaminess. So 3/4 cup of cottage cheese, 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt. Then a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, 3 tablespoons of milk of choice, and then a 1/2 cup of shredded cheese. So I'm just doing mozzarella. Any kind of white cheese will work because you want it to look white. Alfredo sauce. And then 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And that's it. Then we're gonna blend this up. Now to go with this Alfredo sauce, you could either boil some pasta just until it's tender, and then just kind of drizzle some oil over it, and then add the sauce. But we're gonna do one of my favorite pasta alternatives, spaghetti squash.
Okay.
Now, Sean, you've seen these a lot in our
I've
house.
seen them in the microwave, looking like a time bomb.
He's seen them, but he's never actually even touched one as far as, you know, prepping it. So I'm gonna have you prep it.
Oh geez.
And I'm gonna
Okay.
kind of walk you through.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you start by taking this knife, and right where I just kind of pierced it, you wanna cut down those same lines.
Okay.
And we already microwaved it, so it's tender, easy to cut through.
Am I going all the way to the bottom?
Just kind of cutting it in half.
Okay.
Now, either do this on a cutting board or on a piece of parchment or on a kitchen towel, but I have it on a baking sheet pan because sometimes they get really wet inside when they're cooking and the water kind of drips out a little bit. So if you have it on a pan or cutting board, no problem. So now I'm gonna have you take a spoon, a large spoon, and again, if you wanna hold it with a towel because it's a little warm, just on the end here. So you just kind of grab those seeds out and you can just put it right on the pan here.
Okay.
Just discard them. You could roast them up like pumpkin seeds if you wanna put some salt, pepper on them, a little bit of oil, bake them up. They're just like pumpkin seeds, so they're good roasted. Okay, all you have to do is scrape the strands out. It's easiest if you start on the sides
Okay.
and bring it down a little bit like that. So just kind of get it going and then you can scrape from there.
Okay.
Yep, and I would say that you're not gonna be able to fully get it cleaned out, but that's okay because we're adding our Alfredo sauce into the squash, so it's all gonna kind of combine together anyway. And that looks great, you're doing great. And then I am going to blend up our sauce. Okay, Sean, that squash looks perfect. So I'll have you bring the pan back over here.
Okay.
And you can see that I blended up the sauce. How creamy and smooth it looks is how you want it. So you want to bring it all the way up to high speed and really blend it good so that there's no chunks or lumps at all. So we're gonna pour some of the Alfredo sauce right into the squash. And you take a fork and you just kind of mix it into the strands. So kind of take it and pick them up, get it all mixed in there. So we're gonna top this with a little mozzarella because that sounds good to me. We're gonna let it get all nice and bubbly in the oven. So 425 degrees for about 20 minutes should do it. And then we can enjoy.